All right, free radicals, welcome to what's left of my channel. Couple of housekeeping issues here, and they're big, important housekeeping issues. I made a pledge that I wouldn't change the channel again. I'm getting close to going wall to wall with the Tulsi Gabbard theme again. The reason is I'm not really all that inspired to talk libertarian doctrine or talk about Trump populism or talk about really great progressive ideas that will lead to authoritarianism and totalitarianism and those sorts of things. I'm not really that motivated to talk about those things. But when Tulsi Gabbard speaks, I'm pretty excited about what she has to say. And she's actually moved even more in my direction. And of course, I still have some questions about her stance on the thing, the injected thing. And, you know, when we last saw Tulsi Gabbard in Congress, there's this bill Trace Act thing, 4 6s or 3 6s. And no, it's not a joke. And I think what they do is throw that in your face to say, we believe in Satan. That's great. Fantastic. So anyway, I have thought about this and I'm thinking, well, nobody really watches these videos I do. The video I did about tyranny, where I watched Brandon give that speech where he basically told everybody that the government's coming to get you, you know, especially if you don't do the thing, you might lose your job. You won't be able to eat. You won't be able to go to school. You won't be able to travel. Basically, you won't be able to live. And what's going on, by the way, over in Austria right now? We are like, you know, one little shred. I think Ronald Reagan said that we were basically one generation away from losing the freedom that we have. And he ends up being 100% right. Took a little bit longer than a generation, but, you know, he shouldn't have picked George H.W. Bush for his vice president because that started the ball rolling. And then really every president we've had since, including Donald Trump, unfortunately, and I know some people will disagree with me about Trump, but Trump had the drain plug, right? And he, instead of pulling it out and draining, he kept, you know, placating and hiring this person and that person and not firing a whole bunch of people, including the little emperor, Dr. Fauci. He just didn't do what many people thought he was going to do. And all I hear these days from the dyed-in-the-wool Trump supporter is, well, he's coming back and he could be reinstated at any moment. And now you're on a watch list because you said that, right? He's not going to be reinstated at any moment. You know, Mike Lindell can sell 4 billion pillows, right? But he can't just put Trump back in there. You would need some kind of military coup in order for that to happen. Now, I know we had an election coup, right? We had a medical tyranny coup, and we had all those things just converge at the same time. Now let's get back to Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was out there recently, and she was saying some really great things. She says, if you're against the establishment, they will try to destroy you. 100%. And she's going after Democrats. Now, Tulsi, you and I have kind of had conversations. No, we haven't. But I tend to send messages out there hoping that maybe she'll hear one of them. And I say, hey, Tulsi, leave the Democrat Party. I don't care if you just declare your independence and say, you know, I'm not, no party affiliation right now, independent or libertarian or even GOP. GOP would be kind of exciting because it would show that the GOP was truly the party of different ideas. I know at one point Tulsi Gabbard talked about sort of a single payer healthcare program that wasn't litmus tested through the government and it's a little bit more independent. People might entertain that. The only problem is the authoritarians will tell you that you need your QR code in order to get your healthcare. And Tulsi Gabbard would be a poster child for good health. She would advocate for healthy living, for getting outside, for enjoying nature. She, I think, would be probably our first surfing president if she were to be elected. There are a lot of cool and exciting things. We've been looking at old white guys in the Oval Office for quite some time. It would be nice. I know we had an African American guy who some people thought was attractive to look at every day. Whatever. I guess he was better than the old white guys, which we had a tendency to keep electing. Tulsi Gabbard would be a nice break from that, and I do mean that. I mean, you can set a completely different tone. You can be busy working in the White House, which would be great. And I do mean the White House. I don't think Tulsi should run for elected office in Hawaii. I don't think she should do any of that. I think she should announce her candidacy for president in 2022. Just get out there and announce it and say, yep, I'm going to build a coalition of people on the left and the right, middle, and I'm going to work as hard as I can, and people will donate. It can be a true grassroots candidacy. No PAC money from anybody. No affiliation, please, with the Council on Foreign Relations. I know I've had discussions. My friend Stacy for Truth and I, we talked about this. We're just really not sure where she is on that. But here's where I'm at. There's nobody on the political scene today that can actually unite the country. Trump can't do it. He proved that he can't do it. Was the election taken from him? Probably. You know, I'm still of that belief. But again, I have no proof other than the fact that I saw some shenanigans at a few places. You're covering up the windows where people are supposed to be able to see in what's happening in there. And then at another location, of course, we saw those mystery ballots underneath the table come out and scanned and scanned and scanned. So, yeah, I mean, I tell people I don't really like paying $3.35 a gallon. I went from a $20 tank fill up, $20 last year to fill the tank. Seriously, I'm at 40. Some 40. Some people have gone from, say, 35 to 80. Depends how big your car is. So they're basically telling you, hey, we don't want you driving anymore anyway. So the only way to address these gas prices is to do nothing and buy as much petroleum from OPEC as we can. That's the solution. So what's Tulsi Gabbard going to do if she were to become the president? Is she going to roll back these measures? Yes. She said she liked the Remain in Mexico policy, for instance. Thumbs up on that. I know libertarians aren't supposed to like secure southern borders. I'm a libertarian who likes secure southern borders. I'm a libertarian who believes in national sovereignty. All right. I know that's a tough pill to swallow. And yes, do I want immigrants to come here? Of course I do. But they need to be documented immigrants, and we need to streamline a system which not only documents them, but also makes a pathway to citizenship accessible, especially for those who want to contribute to the betterment of the United States of America. It's called merit-based, or at least neutral, and not, hey, I'm here because, you know, I want to sit here and freeload and take as many things as I can. I understand if you're a real refugee, and there needs to be a litmus test for what qualifies as a refugee. Because as the third world continues to collapse, they're going to come to countries that are civilized, and they're going to put huge burdens on those populations. No question about it. It's simple math, and I know our solution these days is just to print money. I'm thinking that Tulsi Gabbard would enjoy auditing the Federal Reserve Bank if she became president of the United States. And there are a lot of things I agree with Tulsi Gabbard on, and I think she would be a great president, and she would give hope to the country. And that hope would come out of left field. Her appearances on Fox News almost daily now, or every other day, have been really great to see. The fact that they're giving her airtime, she sounds like a normal person now. She's not trying to pander anyway in the Democrat Party. She didn't actually do a lot of pandering over there, and I think that's why she was so vilified. And she talks a lot about civil liberties. She talked about the Rittenhouse trial. Holy crap, right? She chimed in and said they got it right. Well, kind of sort of looked like self-defense. They had cameras. It wasn't just hearsay. They had video from several different angles as to what happened. And that really hurt the prosecution because they're looking at this, the jurors, and they're thinking to themselves, yeah, I'm seeing this with my own eyes, and it looked like he defended himself and was about to get killed. So he did what he thought he had to do to defend himself. And Tulsi Gabbard chimed in on that. So that's really just completely cut all of her ties with like the TYT people. Not that they weren't already cut. We had Chenky there coming out and saying all this stuff about her not too long ago, and really just awful human being kind of rhetoric, which we knew that Cenk's a money guy. He's being well financed, and he has to say what the party line tells him to say, but that's not progressive. I mean, I don't even know what progressive is, but here's what I'm saying. If you're not thinking for yourself, you're definitely not a progressive. All right. If you're thinking like a group of people who want to take over the planet, then my guess is that you might be a neoliberal and not a progressive. Pretty simple. And Tulsi Gabbard basically says here that if you are against the establishment, and you can be on the left or the right or somewhere in between or none of the above, right? If you're for the establishment, then you think you're going to get protection for a while. I got news for you. They're coming for you. It's just going to take a little bit longer. They'll ignore you if you're not causing a problem. But once they realize that they've gotten rid of all the people who are causing the problem, they're coming for you afterwards. So you'll buy yourself some time, and you might be able to buy enough to almost live your life and almost be happy, but your conscience will probably be unhappy. And I don't think that's really the way to live. We've got political prisoners right now in the United States of America because they chose to do something, to protest a vote, to just show their discontent with that. And then they got pulled into probably an FBI PSYOP operation on January the 6th. Pretty scary stuff. I'm wondering what Tulsi Gabbard thinks of political prisoners here in the United States. Much like her take on Rittenhouse when she said, look, he's my kid. He's 17 years old. He probably shouldn't be doing what he's doing, right? But he's out there. He's legally and lawfully out there. He thought he could protect businesses. Again, I have a 17-year-old kid, and I've told other people there's no way I would let them out of the house. No way. I'm a parent who loves my child and their safety. I mean, yeah, some people say he's a hero. I'll say this. He did what he had to do to defend himself. As far as his heroism, yeah, maybe in a way he helped save the Second Amendment for a while, because people understand that in some situations where it's either your life or their life, that you're going to choose your life over their life, and you did the natural, normal thing. I think Tulsi Gabbard is a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. She was a supporter of 2A during the election cycle. I don't think she's against, common sense background checks and those sorts of things, but I think she's pretty much on the side of liberty and being able to protect yourself. I think she's an advocate for the First and Second Amendment, and I know she's a big advocate of the Fourth Amendment. So why not Tulsi Gabbard again? Why not fire this old car up again and try it again and build an audience and build a platform? I know some of you will think it's just me pandering to people who want to watch the videos, and I'm going to say, yeah, it is me pandering to people who want to watch the videos, because I have another channel and I'm dealing with the music stuff, and I'm also dealing with politics that are being injected into music, especially when it comes to the medical tyranny. And these people are becoming like the face of the establishment. And so they put out talking points to reach all of those people who really aren't news hounds, but are going to get their information from people who they trust in a way, like musicians. And again, like I say, I don't think you should get your medical advice from the lead guitar player of whatever band. I just don't think that's a good idea. I think you should do your own research, which again, the New York Times thinks is a bad idea. And there's some other outlets that have said, hey, this is a bad idea. But I think Tulsi Gabbard is really a perfect candidate for president, somebody who can unify the country. But it would be up to us to create massive campaign wealth for Tulsi Gabbard, like unstoppable wealth, the kind that only large corporations can typically raise for a candidate, which means the government can raise money for the candidate of their choice. So we, the people, have to overcome that fundraising with enthusiasm, with hard work, and of course with money, because money buys you political advertising, money buys you all of the paraphernalia and the gear that you'll need in order to hopefully win the presidency. So I'm really thinking about doing either Save America, Vote Tulsi Gabbard, or Tulsi Gabbard for President channel. I don't know. And I just don't see me as the radical independent making much of a difference. There are some great commentaries out there that are done by like my friend Charles, who's been a little less active lately, but there are so many channels. Jimmy Dore has a great show. If you're on more on the left, if you want to get, different perspectives, Glenn Greenwald is on Rumble doing a terrific job. For me and, sort of my mindset, I'm more like a Tom Woods with a little bit of a Steve Bannon component in there. And I don't know, it depends on the day of the week. There are some days where I'm just like libertarian 100%. Other days I'm like a little bit of populism, a little bit of libertarianism. And those two things don't really mix. I really enjoy Thomas Massie a lot. I think he's a great congressman. And yeah, do I sometimes enjoy some rhetoric from a guy like Matt Gaetz or Marjorie Taylor Greene? Do I like her? I don't know. Sometimes I think they're just really slick in their fundraising schemes. And at the end of it all, we still have political prisoners in DC, and we still have the Constitution being shredded at rapid speed. And I want somebody who's going to call out the establishment, and Tulsi Gabbard is doing a great job at that. So I'm going to think about it. I'd like to hear from you. If you watch this video, just drop a message under there and try to be nice. Try not to be negative, or look, the accusation is going to be that, oh, here he goes again. He sees he's going nowhere over here, so he wants to reboot the Tulsi channel. And my answer to you would be yes. Yes, I'm not going to hide behind that premise. If nobody wants to talk about what I'm talking about or listen to what I'm talking about, then yeah, we need to promote Tulsi Gabbard and talk about why she would be a great president and who could easily win the presidency and should run for president in the year 2024. I don't care if Trump is running again. Libertarians, they're probably going to run somebody, Dave Smith gets in there. That's interesting, but I don't think he's really ready for prime time, although he would be a good, sort of protest vote. I think we need someone who can appeal to both men and women, and who can also get Republicans, independents, old school Democrats. And I think Tulsi Gabbard is the woman for the job. So there you have it. That's my video. Should this be the Tulsi channel again? I'm thinking it will be at some point. So, buckle in for that, and I'll talk to you real soon.